Hey guys, it's Will here and I'm back with another battle report. Tonight I'll be facing off against Adam again, but unlike last time where we did Eldar versus Tyranids, tonight we've got Emperor's Children versus Salamanders. So yeah, my Salamanders are back on the channel after a few months of mainly focusing on the Eldar, and really looking forward to getting them back out and seeing what they can do with these new missions. And it's going to be the first time I've faced Adam's Emperor's Children. I think it's one of the first games with it. It's still very much a work in progress force, so everything is basically the right colour, but there's still work to be done. But it's got loads of really nice conversions in there, so it's going to look amazing once it's done. So yeah, without further ado, let's take a look at the 2,000 point armies for this Maelstrom of War mission. So here's the army I'm going to be using tonight, my Salamanders. I've got a 2,000 point battalion detachment here. Down here we've got Vulcan Hastan leading the force, one of my favourite special characters in the game. Love the effect he has on the army. And then I've also got a librarian. He's going to have Might of Heroes and Veil of Time, and I'm also giving him the Armour Indomitus to give him a 2+ save. Then my 3 troops choices are all tactical squads. Got a 10-man squad here that's got a plasma cannon and a plasma gun, and the sergeant has a power fist just because I had 12 points left over. Then I've got a 5-man squad with a flamer and a combi flamer on the sergeant, and a 5-man squad with a melter gun and a combi melter on the sergeant. To transport them, I've brought along a Rhino and 2 Razorbacks. One of the Razorbacks has the las cannon, the other has the heavy bolter. And then in elites, I've got a 10-man Stoneguard squad, which I will be combat squad in. I've got a combi flamer, a flamer, and a heavy flamer. And I've also got 3 combi melters in there, I think. Yeah, 3 combi melters. So a lot of firepower there, and really going to benefit from Vulcan's buffs. Got Dreadnought, just a standard loadout Dreadnought there with the multi-melter. And 5 Terminators, including an assault cannon. Then to give me some more heavy firepower, got a Predator, got the Predator cannon on there and the las cannons on the sides. And finally my Storm Raven gunship. This has been one of the most consistently well-performing units in my army. I'm really looking forward to getting him out on the table again. We've got the twin assault cannons on there and the twin multi-melter. Haven't built him with the Storm Strike, Hurricane Bolters, and I didn't really have the points left anyway, but certainly worthwhile including that option, but not got it tonight. But there we go, 2,000 points of Salamanders. And here's Adam's Emperor's Children. So this army is still a work in progress. It's got lots of nice conversions, and from a distance it's looking pretty good. But there are some unfinished models in here. If that bothers you, I'm sorry. You know, he's been working on it really hard, but we're not quite there yet. But it's going to look great once it's done. So it's got here, as his warlord, I think the Demon Prince is the warlord, yep. So this is based off an Age of Sigmar Ogroid Thaumaturge, and the riding on the disc there is to represent him flying. Then we've got his converted Lucius the Eternal, and a Chaos Sorcerer in Terminator armour, and that should be an axe, but the head's fallen off or needs attaching. Then for troops, we've got these 3 units of Noise Marines. Now he's using slightly converted Heresy era miniatures for these, which I think is really cool. So the Volkite weapons on there are actually going to be the sonic weapons, and the big one is going to be the big sonic weapons. I've got 3 squads of them, 2 with this kind of loadout, and then 1 set up more for close combat, and they've got a Rhino with the dual combi bolters on there. Then he's got a Dreadnought, which he's going to use as a Forge World Sonic Dreadnought, so got a twin Blastmaster on there, and I believe the other side is just a Dreadnought close combat weapon, but it's a Scourge or Scourge, some sort of special Forge World weapons. That's going to be nasty. And then we've got a Helldrake, common sight in the past, not faced one this edition, so that's going to be interesting. Quite a lot of heavy supports down here. I think this is actually the Spearhead detachment. So these Centurion conversions are going to be his Obliterators. Then he's got a Chaos Predator with a Havoc Launcher and all the las cannons, and a Defiler. And then finally we sweep over here to what looks like an Outrider detachment. We've got 3 jetpacked units. Saint Celestine conversion here is representing a Chaos Lord, or I guess it would be a Chaos Lady with a jump pack. We've got a unit of Warp Talons and 2 units of Raptors, and both these units are packing a fair amount of firepower. We've got 2 melters and a combi melter there, 2 plasmas and a combi plasma there. So there's a few things in this list I don't really know what they do, and a few things I've just not faced before, so it's going to be very interesting to see how this goes. For tonight's game, we've rolled up the Recon mission, which presents an interesting challenge because we have to split our forces. Now, those of you regulars on the channel might know that I've played Adam in this mission before, but that was with my Eldar against his Tyranids, so it could be quite a different game. So I split my force up into 3. Got Rhino, Tactical Squad, Predator, Terminators in this group. Sorry, I mean Razorback, not Rhino. Then this one got Tactical Squad, Razorback, Rhino, and then this is 2 squads, so that makes 5 units in there. It's a tactical squad, but it's combat squadding to make that 2 squads there. And then here I've got the Storm Raven, the Stern Guard, the Librarian, Vulcan, and the Dreadnought, and that's probably not the one I want to start on the board. I want to leave that in reserve and have that all come in later. So yeah, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. It's a 1, so it's the Predator and the Razorback starting on the board. So here's the split for Adam's force. So we've got this group here with the Raptors, the Obliterators, 1 regular squad, a couple of characters, and the Defiler. This one's got the Dreadnought, the Predator, and the Demon Prince, as well as another unit of Raptors and a Noise Marine squad. And then down here we got the Noise Marine squad with the Rhino, as well as Lucius, the Warp Talons, and the Helldrake. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. That's a 1. So it's going to be the Helldrake starting up with the Warp Talons and Lucius. Okay, on this rather cool looking battlefield here at 40k Gaming, we've rolled up Vanguard Strike as the deployment, and Adam was able to secure first turn. He's got his Helldrake over there, Warp Talons in reserve, and then the Rhino down there has his Noise Marines and Lucius the Eternal. I've got the Razorback here with the Melter Gun squad, and then the Predator here in the woods. Terminators are in reserves, and then all the other forces are also in reserve. At the moment, Adam has first turn, but I need to try and seize the initiative. Nope, it's a 4, initiative not stolen, Emperor's Children, turn 1. Adam started the first turn of the game with some pretty good rolls, bringing on this Raptor squad with the melter weapons, his Chaos Lord with the jump pack, the Obliterators, Defiler, Demon Prince, Dreadnought, Chaos Lord, and Predator. So lots starting on there in addition to what he already had. So the Helldrakes come up here, and these guys have deep struck down behind the Predator. Everything else has walked on the back lines. The Demon Prince warp timed the Defiler to move it up the board a little bit, which in hindsight he regretted because it left him outside his Demon Prince's reroll 1s to hit aura, and resulted later in the Defiler hitting nothing when it fired at the Razorback. He also cast Prescience on the Predator with the Sorcerer, giving it +1 to hit to bring it back to where it should be hitting. And he, oh, hang on, my camera's caught, there we go, also brought down a squad behind here to stay out of sight and possibly grab the objective that is under there somewhere. Shooting was pretty effective. The Predator started off putting 6 wounds onto my Predator, and it was finished off by these guys after the Dreadnought had also had a shot for it. The Defiler and the Razorback shot the Defiler and the Rhino shot the Razorback, but it survived unscathed. So that's first blood for the Emperor's Children, and he also scored the Warp is your ally, which was one of his things, basically cast a psychic power, and he also had the Long War stratagem, basically get D3 if you kill an Imperium unit, which he did, and he rolled a 2-4, so 4 points straight off the bat. So hot out of the gates there for the Emperor's Children, and I've only got 1 model on the board, so I'm going to need some good rolls to try and salvage something here. So a very interesting first turn for the Salamanders. I was able to bring on all my reserves, but because so much is in transports, it still feels like I've got a very small force on the table, because I've got so many models inside this Storm Raven. I've got the Stern Guard, I've got Vulcan, the Librarian and the Dreadnought. Got half a tactical, oh no, got 2 tactical squads of 5 in there, the 2 combat squads. Another 5-man squad in there, and I left the squad in there to keep them safe, because otherwise they were just going to be victims to that battle cannon. Brought the Terminators on over the back here, because my objectives included lightning strike, kill a unit in the enemy's deployment zone. Also had psychological warfare and advance, which I'll be discarding because I'm not going to get everything out of my deployment zone anytime soon. So yeah, shooting. The Terminators split their fire between this Noise Marine squad and the Predator. Did manage to do 2 wounds to the Predator with Storm Bolters and kill a Noise Marine. They actually need a leadership, I think. Oh no, because they're leadership 7, they won't break anyway, that's fine. The Razorback that had come on over here shot the Chaos Lord and missed on both counts, but his counterpart behind here did manage to kill 1 Raptor. And the Storm Raven was the standout unit of the turn and still didn't perform as well as I would have liked. Assault cannons took down 3 Raptors, leaving the last guy to fail his leadership test to score me psychological warfare, and all the other guns went for the Helldrake. One of the melters missed and the other was saved by his demonic invuln save, but both Storm Strike missiles struck home and put 2 pairs of 3 wounds onto him, so he's down to 6 wounds now, but that's still many more wounds than I would like, and the Forces of Chaos seem to have the upper hand, unfortunately. But I have 1 point scored, and next turn all these transport units will be getting out if they're still alive. Here we go with Chaos turn 2. Despite not getting any further reserves this term, the Emperor's Children really pushed their advantage. So the Storm Raven has been outflanked a little bit here by the Helldrake, who was able to charge him. Over here, the Dreadnought pushed back towards the Terminators, and the Defiler, Rhino and Demon Prince came up down this flank, supported by the Chaos Lord with the jump pack. In the Psychic phase, the Sorcerer smited the Terminators to kill a couple of them, and also did prescience on the Obliterators, and the Demon Prince was able to warp time the Defiler closer to the Razorback. Shooting phase was pretty nasty. The Terminators were wiped out to a single guy left, and over here he managed to put a bunch of wounds on the Storm Raven. The Predator had pretty bad shooting, actually rolled 3 1s to hit, but still managed to do, oh no, didn't do anything, but he managed to do loads of wounds with the Obliterators using the Slanesh stratagem to allow them to roll twice, which was to shoot twice, which wasn't as devastating as it could have been. He luckily had quite a low strength and damage characteristic on those. It could have been much worse for the Storm Raven. In the assault phase, Helldrake got into the Storm Raven and left it on just 3 wounds. He was, again, a bit unlucky with the rolls there, and I did command point to re-roll some saves down the line, try and keep this thing up until I can deploy the cargo. And over here, the Defiler got into the Razorback but left it on a single wound. I'm going to have to move my Razorback out of combat next turn and get the guys out, because, yeah, I need to deal with that Defiler. Finally, the Sonic Dreadnought charged the last surviving Terminator and unsurprisingly wiped him out, although he did have to burn a command point to pull that charge off. So objectives were advance, claim and despoil, and defend objective 6. So he wasn't able to score any of those, although he is on his way to securing the area of the battlefield that 6 is in, and he's discarding advance because getting that Predator out of his deployment zone is going to be a bit of a no-go. But now is really going to be the crucial turn. I've got my forces disembarking. They need to make enough impact to stop the Emperor's Children being able to just wipe me out. 3 cards this turn: Lightning Strike, Overwhelming Firepower and Domination. Obviously Domination was going to be incredibly tough in my situation, so wasn't scored and will be discarded. The big decision this turn was what to do about the squad in the Storm Raven, because they weren't in a good position if they disembarked, but if they moved they weren't going to be in much better a position, but at least they might get somewhere better next turn. So I did decide to move the Storm Raven, taking everyone, the Stern Guard, Vulcan, the Librarian and the Dreadnought with it. It will probably get shot down this turn, but at least when it does it'll be a bit nearer to the Obliterators, so I can actually start to do something with the guys in there rather than have them stuck on the back line. Also disembarked 3 of my tactical squads, this one, the Melter squad under there from the Razorback that had backed out of combat, and these guys from this Razorback that continued to advance. Left one squad in there, the squad with a plasma gun, as sort of almost a tactical reserve, you know, do something a bit different with them next term and don't commit just yet. The squad with the melter guns I was really hoping would do some damage to the Defiler, but once again one of them missed despite the rerolls, and then the wound that was done was saved thanks to his invuln save. The Razorback had a similar fate with its las cannons failing to do anything, but then everyone else did manage to put a few wounds on the Chaos Lord before I charged the Razorback into combat with her just to tie her up, mean that she can't come out and threaten my tactical squads next turn, except I've just realised she has a jump pack, so it doesn't matter, so she will be coming out and dealing with them anyway. Over here Storm Raven fired its assault cannons at the Helldrake but didn't do any damage because they were quite degraded, but the melter guns did manage to kill off one of the Obliterators, which will reduce the amount of firepower I've got coming back. Did also get a couple of wounds on them with the plasma cannon from this squad that had overcharged, but they were saved thanks to the great armour save they've got there and cover. So really in the end didn't do a lot. It was it's felt like a bit of an uphill struggle this game. The mission type hasn't played well to my army, but you know, there's still all to play for. He didn't score that many points last turn, so the fact that I didn't score anything this turn isn't the end of the world, but we've still got a few Chaos forces that haven't even joined the fray yet. Absolutely brutal third turn for the Emperor's Children there. Helldrake came up behind the damaged Storm Raven. Demon Prince moved further up the board and warp-timed himself closer to the Rhino and where the Storm Raven was. He brought on his remaining reserves mostly over here, with one squad going in at the back there. And that Rhino there, the guys inside disembarked, ready to threaten the tactical squads here. And that went off to grab objective 6, which he's got to defend for, and there's another squad right over the back there that's grabbing objective 5, which he's also got defend. Shooting phase was very brutal. I'm actually struggling to remember what killed what, but the end product was the Rhino was down to 3 wounds, the Storm Raven was wrecked, 3 guys from this squad died, one of the Rhinos over there was gone, and lost a tactical squad there in, I think that was in the assault phase though. Also killed a few guys from this squad before charging them with a Helldrake, and the Demon Prince pulled off a charge onto the Rhino to wipe that out. So at this point things are really not looking good. I've basically got this little clump that was supposed to get in, strike early and do a lot of damage, that's only finally in position to do something. A lone tactical marine here and a small squad there. Incidentally, the Helldrake originally was planning to charge the Storm Raven, ended up charging here because the Storm Raven was already gone. On the charge I overcharged my plasma, did 2 wounds to the Helldrake but lost the plasma gun in the plasma cannon in the process. And I've just remembered there was still a squad inside that Rhino that needs to disembark, so it's not quite as bleak as it looks. So I'll disembark them and then we'll come back for my third turn. The other thing to note was that despite all this damage, he didn't actually score any points that turn. He's holding Claim and Despoil, which he wasn't quite able to do, and 2 defends that he won't achieve until the end of this turn, with the Rhino and the tactical squad, Noise Marine squad behind there. With so few models left, I really was making the most of a bad situation here. First trying to kill the things that were the biggest threat to my Stern Guard. So, the Dreadnought came over here to threaten the Helldrake. These guys that disembarked from the Rhino last turn went up to deal with the Obliterators, and I backed this one little dude out of combat so I could get a clean shot on the Helldrake. and back these guys out of here just because I didn't want the Defiler to get another round of hitting them in combat. Psychic phase, I managed to smite the Demon Prince for 3 wounds and also put Might of Heroes on the Dreadnought to make him a bit tougher, ready for his fight with the Helldrake, and then used the stratagem that boosts the special issue ammo of the Stern Guard in the shooting phase. Plasma gun from this squad was able to finish off one of the obliterators, and then the second one died to the melter guns from this squad, while the rest of the squad targeted the Demon Prince and left him on a single wound. And down here the Dreadnought tried to take out the Helldrake with shooting, but unfortunately that damn Helldrake's save, the 5-up Invo, just saved his butt again. That's worked really well for him tonight, and sorry about the camera glare, the model really is just that shiny. He's used this very high sheen paint on it, which looks very cool, but the camera doesn't really seem to like it. Then in the assault phase, Dreadnought charged in, took a couple of wounds, so he's down to a single wound, but he left the Helldrake on just 2 wounds, and this squad with the Power Fist charged the Demon Prince and finished him off. It's very important to have them strike first, because the Demon Prince, obviously being a Slanesh model, was going to be able to, or an Emperor's Children model, was going to be able to swing first, or swing at the same time as them effectively, so obviously pick them first, they did the job. That left the Dreadnought alright to take out the Helldrake, because the Helldrake doesn't get that benefit. Points wise, scored a point for Slay the Warlord on the Demon Prince and a point for overwhelming firepower on the Obliterators, and I'm still holding Secure Objective 3. I've finally discarded Lightning Strike because got no use for that, so I am now up 3 points to 4, so it's not terrible at this stage, but I've only got a very small cluster of models left. Correction, it's not 4 points to 3, it's 8 points to 3, because Adam was holding 2 defends that he just scored. Objective 5 is sort of under there, and Objective 6 over there. So yeah, he's got quite a significant lead now as we head into the 4th turn. Turn 4, and things are looking pretty bleak for the Salamanders. The majority of the Emperor's Children force is starting to close in on what little I've got here, and everything else has been picked off. The tactical squad over here were shot up by the Noise Marines and Rhino before charged by the Warp Talons, and that was enough to finish them off. The one dude in here was easily finished off by Lucius's Doom Siren. The Helldrake finished off the Dreadnought, and this squad was reduced to a single man by the fire of the units over here. He did luckily pass his leadership test, but Adam has scored another couple of points. He got Secure Objective 3 for 1, and he also got Area Denial for just the 1. This guy is just stopping him getting the D3 on that, but still it's a yeah, it's a bleak situation, but we are Salamanders and we will fight to the bitter end. Okay, so turn 4, and it's just about salvaging what little glory I can get from a very inglorious situation. So I had Supremacy, Secure 3 and Blood and Guts. Supremacy wasn't going to happen, and 3's got a Dreadnought on it, but I thought, you know what, I'll take some guys down with me. So I moved up the lone plasma guy towards Lucius, and actually managed to put a few wounds on him, and he had to burn one of his last few command points to save that from being worse. Good little shot there. Down here, the Librarian put Might of Heroes on Vulcan, ready to charge the Raptors. But, yeah, I split my fire on the Sternguard squad, with the Melters going at the Helldrake and the Flamers and Bolters going at the Raptors. Helldrake went down easy enough to the Melters, and he rolled 5 1s for his saves on the Raptors. Literally a roll of 5 dice, all came up 1, and yeah, so I wasn't able to get the charge, but I did wipe the Raptors out, so that's cool at least, but no points scored unfortunately. End of turn 5, and it really is all over. The forces of chaos have continued to surround me. He was able to wipe out the last of my infantry with shooting, so the plasma guy went down to a shot from somewhere, and everything else shot the Sternguard, leaving virtually nobody left alive apart from Vulcan and the Librarian. He'd cast Death Hex on Vulcan with his Psyker, so that when he charged me I didn't get an Invuln save, and Lucius is just a beast in one-on-one combat. So the only survivor is my librarian, who's tied up in combat with my with his Chaos Lord. But look at all of this that he's still got. That was a really effective game for the Emperor's Children there. So well done, Adam. Thanks for a good game. Yeah. All right. I'll see you guys in a minute for the post game. Right, well, that didn't quite go as planned, did it? I got absolutely hammered. Congratulations to Adam on a really solid win there. Now, in terms of what went wrong, well, where do I start? I mean, obviously the mission didn't favour the Salamanders particularly. Having a lot of units in transports is a real disadvantage in that type of mission because obviously they can come on, if they don't start on the board, they're coming on turn 1, which means they can't disembark because of the way the coming onto the board works until at least turn 2, and that is still only on the baseline. If you want to actually have your transport get them up the board, it's going to be turn 3 before you can get them out, assuming you roll for them on turn 1, which, yeah, I did. Everything came on, which was some good luck. But I think in hindsight I would have played the list quite differently. The thing was, I had a real plan about how it was going to all go, who was going in what transport, why they were going to do, what the role was going to be, and it was all a great idea. But yeah, the mission really threw that, but I still tried to keep my plan even though the mission really didn't suit it. In hindsight, I should have probably left the units that were in the Storm Raven out of the Storm Raven. Even though that was my kind of initial plan when I built the list, I think I should have adapted on the fly to the mission a bit more, and then I'd have had them come in and actually start to make an impact from turn 1. I mean, they'd have been a little bit more at risk of getting shot up, but you know, at least they'd have been contributing rather than waiting to have any impact until the bottom of turn 3, by which point it was too late anyway. So yeah, that was my big mistake there. I think putting all my eggs in one basket with the Storm Raven didn't help there. I think there are times when it's really paid off, but it's like you're gambling on the Storm Raven getting to where it needs to go in time, intact, and then the impact hitting. And Adam played very well. He had you know, I had this one really hard hitting, almost Death Star-esque unit, and because he was spread out all over the board everywhere, they couldn't hit multiple targets. You know, there was a few things around them they took out, but then there was so much else all over the board, and yeah, just completely outplayed me. So yeah, congratulations, Adam. I think the army's coming along very nicely. Not sure the Defiler really did the impact to make its points, but you know, it did something when it eventually hit combat, but its shooting was just, oh, it couldn't hit for toffee. But yeah, and the obliterators, I mean, I know how good Slaanesh obliterators are, and I think they underperformed compared to what they can do. I mean, not to say that they're bad or drop them, they're really good. They just yeah, had some bad dice, didn't do as much damage as they could have done, but was certainly a threat I needed to deal with. So yeah, I look forward to seeing how this army comes along. I know it's kind of his next project. He's kind of finished up most of his Tyranids now for the Tale of Four Gamers, even though a couple of months out he's a bit ahead of the curve on it. So he's working on these Emperor's Children and also some Eldar. Adam's recently discovered airbrushing, and yeah, it's making a big impact on not only the quality of his painting but also how quick he gets it done. And he's churning out Carnifexes faster than the average Hive fleet churns out Carnifexes. It's madness. But yeah, anyway, thanks a lot for watching. Hope you guys enjoyed, and I'll see you again soon. Bye.